Hey everyone, Piano Man Chuck here. Today I want to talk about something that's known as G.A.S on the internet forums. It's an acronym, G.A.S. It stands for Gear Acquisition Syndrome. And it doesn't apply just to pianists and keyboardists. It's for every musician out there, and it even goes beyond the musician field. But for musicians, whether you're a violinist or you have an organ or an accordion or a harp or a drum set or whatever you've got, you always want the next and greatest thing out there. There's something better that does more than what you currently have, and you gotta have it no matter what, and you go out and get it. Well, I have seen very talented musicians that can do wonders with their whatever their instrument is that they play. But instead of doing that, they're focused on getting the next greatest and biggest thing, and they go ahead and play with all the features that it has and do all this stuff. And then another model comes out that does a little more, and they have to have that. They sell the other one. It's just a crazy thing because these musicians that are so good at what they do, they don't even play anymore. They're just playing around with their new instruments instead of coming up with new music. Isn't that what it's all about? Coming up with new music? So it's kind of a real sickness. And, you can translate it to other fields too. You can see that happen with people with cars. You can see it with smartphones. You can see it in just about everything. But as far as keyboards and a pianist perspective, well, if you're playing piano, and let me tell you, this Nord Stage 2 has all these knobs and controls and buttons and everything. They're all dedicated. And if you look at it, it looks like the cockpit of an airplane. It does all this stuff. Well, let me tell you, some of my greatest compositions and some of the improvements to my greatest compositions that I've ever done on the piano has come with a Kawai VPC-1, which is nothing more than a piano controller. And all it has on it is a keyboard and a very subtle power switch. Nothing else. In fact, if you watch my review of it, you'll see that I was complaining that I could actually see the cables that hooked up to the pedals and things like that. But less in that case is more. Just by not having knobs and buttons and sliders and switches and all that kind of stuff, just a keyboard, just like I would be having at a real piano, just having that, I could be a lot more creative. I'm not distracted by the switches and the knobs and the sliders and the buttons. So that's kind of what I wanted to get across. G.A.S, yeah, it's a syndrome that a lot of people have. They want to have the latest and greatest. It's kind of human nature, but it goes against what they wanted to accomplish in the first place, and that's to write music, to try and get that music into places where it could get known and heard and famous. Movies and television and radio stations and local places, and it doesn't matter where, just as long as your music's being heard. But G.A.S, if you're a victim of G.A.S, try to just get rid of everything that you can and just try to play your instrument, whether it's a keyboard or an accordion or a violin or a drumstick, or actually I had a friend that had a steel pedal guitar and it was pretty good, but there was another one that had a couple of more pedals on it, or a couple of more of these knee switches that they have built on there. And, he had to have that. But I do have to give him credit, because after he got that, he started really doing some really cool stuff with it. But anyway, what I wanted to get across is just play your instrument. It doesn't matter what it has. Even if you have a cheap, really cheap instrument, $100, maybe less, you can still play it. It's playable. You can still create. The music that comes from that instrument actually doesn't come from that instrument. It comes from you, from the heart, from within. Piano Man Chuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.